welcome to the Pink Hair Girl podcast. My name is Sally Jane and this is Rachel.
Hi.
It's 2017. Somehow that snuck up on us, didn't it? It has been rather a while since we last podcast. I actually think it was November. Lots of things have been happening and it has been rather busy, but we won't go into all of that now. We'll just say Happy New Year, and we are delighted to be back with you. And let's get on with the new show and all the interesting things that are happening this year.
Yep.
Great. So, well, I do need to start with one thing from last year, which was a yarn giveaway, which was from Nurturing Fibers, of the hand-painted lace merino singles, which was a set like this, to make Carle Denning, who is from Nurturing Fibers, abalone shawl. And so there was a thread on the group to enter to win the yarn, and you had to go and look at her lace singles and say which colors you liked. And the winner is Angie Ship, who is Andrea from, or Andrea, I don't know, different people say it differently, from Canada. So congratulations, and please get your mailing details to me so that I can get that in the post for you. So congratulations. And thank you to everybody that entered that giveaway. And sorry that we have been a bit tardy and a bit slack in getting that done. Yeah. The other very big and exciting thing that is happening on the Pink Hair Girl podcast this year is that we have been asked to join the Wonders of the World knit along. Now, some of you will have seen the trailer that has come out.
Hey Grace.
Hi.
I need your help with something.
How can I help?
I was thinking exactly the same thing.
Fatima, this is huge. We're gonna need some help.
Fatima, hi.
Connie, we want to host a knit club that celebrates every continent in the world.
Wow, this sounds wonderful.
And we want one podcast from every continent to host it.
I'm in. When do we start?
On January 1st, with me hosting the wonders of Australia and New Zealand.
And each month, we move to a different continent and a new podcast.
Oh wow,
Who's it?
this sounds amazing.
Who's on the phone?
Could you host Europe for us?
Yes, of course, we would love to.
Kate, who is it?
Don't you have to ask Dan?
Oh no, it's fine. Mr. Jones will do whatever he's told.
What do you mean?
Let me explain it for those that haven't seen or for those that would like to be involved. It is basically a 6-month-long knit-along focusing on the 6 different continents where there is knitting. I mean, we are aware that there is the 7 continents, but there is not an awful lot of knitting or yarn or anything happening in Antarctica.
There might be a knitting.
Well, I mean, there might be a scientist that knits on the science station. Yes, there may very well be. But as far as we know, there aren't any dyers or sheep or designers or well, I mean, we never know. So as far as we know,
There might be someone who works in Antarctica.
yes, there may well be a knitter there, but I mean, you don't live there. You can't live in Antarctica. You'd only be a scientist from a different country or an expedition anyway. So it started in January, and the first leg is in Australia, New Zealand, the sort of Australasia area, and that is hosted by Grace of the Babbles. Let me try that again. Babbles Traveling Yarn podcast. She's Irish, but she's actually in Australia. So she's going to be doing Australia and New Zealand yarn. If you go in my group, you will find the Wonders of the World trailer and all the links to the different groups. Every podcaster will have slightly different entry requirements for their particular month. So if you go along to Grace, it's usually got to do with using a pattern or a yarn from that continent to try to broaden our horizons for different people from different places in the world, really. So go along to, oh, sorry, I've got a hair in my face. Go along to my group, find the links to her Ravelry group. All the details will be in there. A lot of us will give you longer than the month to knit with things like there is a chatter thread and all sorts of things, so people will have different requirements, and there is a Wonders of the World itself group, and there is a pattern where you knit a hat that has got all the continents. It's sort of like a map of the world in a colorwork knitting on it, which is kind of the official sort of pattern for the whole, you could knit that all the way along throughout the year. And there are some really wonderful, wonderful prizes that are going to be available from each of the podcasters. So go and check each group and see what the different kind of rules and how different people are going to do it. Our month, we have kind of, we were supposed to be March, but we have unfortunately pushed the geographical flow of things out a little bit. So it was going to be Australia, Singapore, Africa, and then across to Europe, and then North and South America. But we've kind of pushed things out a little bit. We are having February. We'll tell you a little bit more about that later. But we are having February. And so during February, I'm going to podcast and focus on all things South African. So I'm going to have a thread of ideas for South African yarn, South African pattern designers. A lot of the prizes are all featured things from South Africa. It is the continent of Africa, but I have to admit to not knowing of anything happening besides in South Africa. And I'm sure there is, and I'm sure I'm remiss in not knowing. I'm sure in sort of places like Egypt and all over like that, there must be other things happening in the yarn industry. But the people that I have access to and access to getting prizes and things like that are mostly in South Africa. So that's kind of what I've focused on. And there is a very big sheep and wool industry here in South Africa, with some very big mills here that actually spin a lot of the overseas yarns. Some of the very big names, Rowan and a couple of the others, have their yarn spun here. So there is a big history, and we've got alpacas here and all sorts of things.
Maybe
here.
we should go on an adventure to try and find all the sheep.
Yeah. So in February it's our turn, and I do have some very nice prizes from South Africa. So there will be a prize thread, and I will show you all the different, which will feature all the different people that have offered prizes and links to their work and all the rest, that you can see that. That's not going to be a chatter thread. I'm just going to put in there so you can see what all the beautiful prizes are that are available, and a bit of a link and background to the different people. There are a lot of people that through their work and through what they do help to provide employment and improve the lives of other people here in South Africa. So yeah, I mean, you've seen some of the things in places we've been before, the alpaca loom and all sorts of things that are happening here. My rules will be that there will be a kind of, during February, there will certainly be prizes for chatting and for getting involved with the knit along on the sort of African leg in February. And I will draw the prize. You don't have to finish the thing by then, but chat about yarn and join the knit along and the chatter part during February, and I will draw some prizes at the end of February. I will continue the knit along part of it until the end of the
Knit
knit along for the full 6 months, the end of June, you'll be able to, in my thread, enter your African design or using African yarn. So for example, if you were inspired by some of the yarns I've shown you, to want to order them and get them in time and still be able to knit them, you would have a chance to do that. So that's how mine's going to work. I have also designed one, hopefully two, I'm not sure if I'm going to get the second one done in time, but I have designed one pattern already that will be hopefully launched in time for the knit along. The testers are just busy with it at the moment.
Are you going to show it?
Yes, I will. But the first thing I want to do is I want to show you some of the prizes that have come in so far.
There are lots.
Because there, yeah. So I thought if I started this week, then I'm going to start a thread as well that will show you all the different things that are coming.
Right.
So
Like
we've got some buttons from Incomparable Buttons, handmade, giving employment to women in South Africa, and I will tell you a lot of details about them and some lovely pictures in their story that they've sent me in the thread, and I will link to the prize and then a little bit about each of the companies and people that are sending me things. So these are some gorgeous Incomparable buttons. They're handmade ceramic buttons. We've had them on the podcast before, and they're really fantastic. I love these. These have a real African theme to them. There's a lion, a rhino, zebra, elephant, and hippopotamus.
Chickens.
Yeah, I don't know if the chickens will make it into the prize giving
sure they
part.
will.
Do you think so?
Yeah.
Your mother's very fond of chickens.
Yeah, I know.
And more hearts.
These look like little bread.
Oh, I have them upside down. And did I show these?
Yes, you did.
Yeah.
You showed those first.
Did I? So these are all our buttons, lots and lots of buttons. Oh no, I think I showed those first. Look, they're slightly different. There's one on brown and there's one on...
No, you showed the white ones and I showed the brown
Oh,
ones.
okay. Anyway, so these are Incomparable buttons. So those are beautiful. Right. Then I have some beautiful yarn from... I'm just going to take this lovely lavender she sent on the top, and I'm just going to take that off to show you. Oh, I don't want to tear the paper. It's from Beatrix Yarns. Maybe if I show it this side then. Oh, I don't want to rip it. It's alpaca yarn. So these are two skeins on this side in pink, and they are 83% alpaca and 17% merino, these two pink ones here. And then there's a kind of a sample, like mini skeins over here of these little ones. And these are 5-ply sock yarn 40-meter skeins in honey, flamingo, cosmos, lavender, glacier, Seychelles, and light emerald. So they, I don't know if you can see all the colors there, and then the little list of... So that's one of the prizes from Beatrix Yarns, and I will put that up in the thread as well. And then we have a really cute little kit to make a baby bunny from Color Spun Yarns. So this one, the colors, the bunny in the picture is yellow, but this one you get a blue and a purple bunny colors. And all the little extras are on the little bobbins here. So anything you need for a color for an eye or for a nose or for any extras you get in there. And there's even wool stuffing in there too.
Well, that would be a good price for a first toy.
Yeah. So there's that little bunny from Color Spun. Thank you very much, Donna. And then I have a prize from my very good friend Sally, Wool Diaries shop, but the prize is actually donated by a very kind viewer who wants to remain anonymous, but she has donated the prize for a knit along from Sally's shop. So this is from Sally's Yarn Bling shop, and it's one of her lovely little sock bags. So, oops. See, it's one of the little sock sacks. So how cool is that? So that's from, and thank you to my very kind viewer that donated the prize. Oh, I'm squashing the card in here. then I got for the knit along a book that I saw called Beautiful South Africa Colouring In Book, because colouring in has become sort of quite a thing at the moment, and there are some really lovely pictures, sort of all very South African inspired.
Yeah.
There are the proteas, and there's the waterfront. Whoops. Little cactuses, and also Johannesburg scene. That would be Durban. So there's all sorts of things to colour in. Yeah, and since colouring in is quite a big thing at the moment, I thought that a South African inspired colouring in book might be fun. So that's just from us. And then there is, I'm going to have a pattern that's coming out as well. So I should probably show you that. Hey. The yarn for this was very, very kindly given to me by KAL from Nurturing Fibres. And I have made a shawl. It's a sort of a long, asymmetrical shawl. So you start on this edge. It's all in it's all in variations of garter stitch. And this yarn is very nice. It is, there's my little bag. I had all the thing here. It's called Eco Fusion. Oh, I've got hair on me here. Oops. It's called Eco Fusion, and it is a bamboo and cotton blend. So it's 50% bamboo and 50% cotton. And I used 5 different colors, although you can use 4. If you repeat this color on the end and make the end one a solid grey instead of 2 greys, then you can, oh, I'm showing it the wrong way around. Then you can use,
what do you mean?
well, I'll show you in a second. So mine goes from grey, so this is a sort of a garter drop stitch section. Yes, that's plain garter, then there's a stripe section, there's a drop stitch section, there's a textured mint section here, a kind of an open work saffron.
Back to front, don't you?
No. And then you move into using, because in the beginning you only use a very little bit of this grey because it's obviously very small. On the end here I put the darker grey with it and used a light and dark grey here. So it's 50 grams of all the colours except for the orange, which is 100 grams because obviously it gets bigger then, except if you want to do this one and this whole section in the same colour, not striped, then you could do 4 balls, 2 of which are 100 grams and the other 2 50 grams. So then your 50s would be your white and your
blue.
No man, mint. It's not blue. It's turquoisey mint color. Anyway, yes. Otherwise, it's 4 50 gram balls and the orange one, which is the 100 grams. They're all different variations of garter stitch. This is a sort of a yarn over lacy sort of section, and then there's a what is called sea foam little wavy section there on the end. And this shawl I designed very closely with Sally, Wool Diary. So every step of the way she helped me pick the next stitch pattern that we were going to use. So it's really a culmination of the two of us designing together, and she had kind of say over what I did next and what looked right and what to do next. So this is called, we didn't know what to call it, so we called it Organized Chaos, because Sally is very organized and I'm a bit chaotic, but together we do quite well, and so it's a kind of a dedication to our friendship. So this is my Organized Chaos shawl. See, I'm going the wrong way. The camera thing is always, there we go. So
backwards.
I mean, you can wear it obviously many different ways, whatever you like, but yeah. So this shawl will be available for the knit along hopefully soon. I will release it in the beginning of February. And yeah, so that's part of the knit along, using some fantastic, I've never knitted with this before, but it is a really very, very nice yarn with the combination of the bamboo and the cotton. They both drape really nicely. The garter makes it hold its shape well, and it's got a really nice drape to it. It's warm enough but not, it's kind of an in-between weather one, which is really nice, because sometimes just a wool shawls all the time can be quite hot, you know, if you've got an in-between sort of season. So a nice cotton bamboo shawl is nice to add to the The collection, yeah. You could easily do it in your wool as well, quite easily. It would be, because it's garter stitch, you can really do a lot of different fibers with it, and it will hold its shape really well.
You can do it with all my hands and make yourself a very...
Yeah, you could, yeah. So I would well recommend, this is the first time I've used EcoFusion, and I really did enjoy using it. It's a very, very nice yarn. Sometimes cottons and things can be quite hard on your hands, and I didn't find that at all. The bamboo gives it a lovely soft feel. It's very nice to work with, and I thoroughly enjoyed. The colors are beautiful, and I sort of like this palette of colors we chose. Obviously everybody's colors will be very different. So that one, because it's from our podcast during the month, we're going to give you a double entry for if you knit that one during the knit along. So that is about, okay, so let me just tell you the other podcast is after February. It moves on, well, kind of moves backwards to Singapore. Sorry, that is our fault. It moves backwards to Singapore, which is kind of doing Asia, and that's Fatima from the Knit Knacker podcast, and she will tell you all of her details and be exploring all sorts of things from Asia. And then in April it goes to Europe, which is the Bakery Bears. Dan and Kay are hosting that. In May, it's Shannon from the Socksetera podcast, and she's doing North America. And in June, it's Connie from Chili Knits, and she is doing South America. So follow on. Each person will have a different criteria for the knit along. But basically the idea is to follow everybody around the world and learn some new podcasters, learn about some new yarns, patterns, designers. Just get inspired to knit something a little bit different, or learn about a culture that's a bit different, or something that's
different.
Yes, and if there are people watching this that have never watched us before, that have joined because of the wonders of the world,
welcome.
We're really, really pleased to have you. So let's tell you about what we've been working on, why we do not have an awful lot to show you, and why we messed up the Wonders of the World order. We have been very busy, and we have not been podcasting. And we've not actually been doing terribly much. Well, we're doing a bit of crafting. We haven't been doing that much crafting.
No.
Great has not done very much. Yeah. It has been holidays and Christmas and school friends visiting and all sorts of things going on.
New Year.
But we are also moving. So there has been a lot of going on with painting and packing and sorting and decluttering and redoing the house to get it ready to be... for people to traipse through all the time, and that's been keeping us very busy. So yeah, which is why we needed to have our month in February, because we actually move at the end of March. So it would be a little bit difficult to host a sort of Wonders of the World knit along when we were actually about to leave. Because we're not only moving, we're actually moving from South Africa. We are moving to England in the end of March. So it's a big new adventure for our family. We all have mixed feelings, but we are excited, and it is a new adventure, and it's going to be something different and something exciting. And we'll be telling you more about that as we go along, but that's sort of why things have been a little
There'll be a new location.
There will be a new location, and Pac-Man will unfortunately no longer be eating Rachel's head in every podcast. I don't know, for the new people, sometimes we're a bit further back and you can see that's actually a Pac-Man
You move.
bookshelf, and then put your head back and then he eats Rachel's head every episode. I should have probably had us focused a bit further out so that he could fit in. Anyway, so yeah, we probably won't have Pac-Man in the background
For much longer.
anymore.
Have a Pac-Man picture.
We will just have to have a
can just-
Pac-Man picture.
Draw a picture of Pac-Man and put Pac-Man.
Make a little Pac-Man brooch or something, yeah. Anyway, so yes, things will be different, and you will have to bear with us. We will do our very best to have as much input as we can during February and tell you as much as we can about South African yarns and designers and everything that's going on. But there may be times in March and April where you just have to give us a chance to get back on our feet and all of that. So yeah, this is going to be a bit of a year of change for us, and yeah, we hope you kind of enjoy the journey and adventure with us. So what have we been doing? We have done a few things. Well, I have done a few things. I finished, I can't remember if I showed you last time that I had done one sock. Had I done one sock before last time? I've been doing this sock for ages, but I have finished one.
Not as long as I've been doing your
my Christmas birthday Christmas sock.
No, your funeral socks.
My funeral. Oh right, they're funeral socks now.
You'll most definitely have them by then.
Okay.
So just be expecting them before your funeral. So just like any time before then.
Any time before then. So these are my socks from the yarn that my friend Sharon sent to me, and I have cast on the toe for the second ones. These are like the longest knitting socks in the world, but there we go. I've done that. So those are the socks that I'm knitting. Then I added quite a few. Sally had the Advent, you know, add a square to your blanket every day for Advent. And my goal was to get to 200 squares before the end of last year, which I didn't.
Didn't we work out you needed 700 and something?
Yeah, I know. If you work out how many you actually need to make a double bed throw, or you know, a decent king, you know, queen size bed throw, you need like over 700 squares.
This is about 790,
and I'm only on just over 200 now, and I've been knitting for this what 2 years.
100 a year. You'll have it
7 years later.
You'll have it by the time I move out.
So it has gotten bigger. I think I added these 2 rows. Anyway, it has gotten bigger. I didn't get to 200 before the end of the year. We had a rather sad start to our new year, and I didn't get there. A friend of mine's child drowned over the day before New Year, and so yeah, I didn't do much knitting then, but I did later, and I have got to my 200, and so yeah.
Nice.
I'm just going to be doing I've finished some rows, and then I'm going to be doing a bigger square over here. So I need to get to double height, and then I pick up for double height, and then I'll carry on those 2 rows after that. So I'm going to do one of the bigger squares over here. So I knitted on this quite a lot over the holidays, and in between packing and knitting, packing and organizing and stuff. At the end of the day, if it's been a really long day, I didn't always want to be knitting on something else, so I would often just do squares on my blanket. So yeah. And then, as I said, I knitted the shawl, the Organized Chaos shawl, through the holidays. I did that quite a lot. I did finish.
You finished it? Oh yeah, you did.
It is finished, but it's not.
Right.
I might change it.
I like it.
It is the. I've gone completely blank on the pattern name.
Read in your notes. You usually put it in the notes.
I know. I was going to say Ariel, but it's not the Ariel, because I've
not
been on the
the
Ariel for so long. That's all I've got stuck in my head now. It's the Opera sweater, which was the 2-color one, and I was doing it in, and I even put the yarn label here, the 3 Irish Girls. And this is a 100% merino yarn. And I was doing, so it's had a kind of a mustard color on the top, and then the sort of cherry brown color on the bottom. And last time I showed you, I was having a problem with the pooling, and so, or flashing. It was making a big sort of flash down the front. So this time I used 3 different yarns and alternated them every second row, because I tried to do 3 different yarns and alternated them every row, and I still got flashing. So I actually knitted the body piece until about, until you could see whether it was flashing until about here. This bit I knitted about 3 times, but I did eventually get it right with 3 yarns, 2 rows each. So that's that, and that's fine. The only thing that I'm not happy with, I'm very happy with it, and why I haven't sewn in all the ends, is the sleeves are a little bit bigger. It's either the sleeves are kind of a looser fit, but I think if I go back to where the color change is and just taper it a bit more, because there's no cuff on the sleeve, it's just a little rolled, you just cast off and it does a kind of a rolled cuff like that. But it's quite baggy. I've got smallish wrists, and so it's quite a bit wider or baggier than the problem is the body and the sleeves don't match. If you've got a baggier body, looser body, positive ease on the body and the sleeves, it's fine, but the body part actually has slightly negative ease, and then the sleeves have quite a lot of positive ease, and it looks a little bit strange. So either I need to make the body looser or the sleeves tighter, and I think it'll be easier just to do the sleeves a little bit tighter. There was a moment of that I wondered if I could just go on my sewing machine and go zips and sew the seam in, but I don't suppose that's the very best option. No. So I will fix the sleeves, but I've kind of, when it's finished, then you have to go back and it's not finished, and then you kind of sulking because you don't really want to do that.
And Mum's just finished her shawl.
Yeah, so it's very nice. I like it a lot. It fits well. The body fits nicely. It's a good length. Again, it's got a kind of, you do the hem and then you're going to stitch that bit flat on there. Although actually when you put it on, I quite like the way it does a little rolled with the bit where you're supposed to turn it back, where it actually does a little rolled thing and then stops at that. I don't know. I'm not even like that.
It's folded over.
I don't know. I'll decide. The thing with leaving it down is it also gives it a little bit of extra length, and I'm always tall enough to need a little bit of extra.
It's not going to need much.
Not that much.
Not that much.
So I will definitely be getting lots of use out of. I must finish this before we go to England, because I will be getting lots of more use out of woolen stuff in England. Seeing as today is like 30-something degrees and it's really boiling, I couldn't even wear a cotton shawl; it would be too much. But the sleeves are quite wide. But all in all, I'm very happy with the pattern. The pattern is very well written. It's very nice. Sweater.
Yeah.
But I now need to go back and finish it. And the going back and finishing it bit is always the hard bit. So that was the opera sweater, which I did also finish. So I did finish a sweater and I did finish a shawl. And I did quite a lot of squares on my blanket. But that is about all I have been doing, because we have mostly been packing and sorting and painting and getting organized.
Getting a lot of things organized and friends.
There is still an awful lot to do. We're in the process of selling the house, and we have all sorts of exciting things like TB chest x-rays, because we come from deepest, darkest Africa. We need to have TB x-rays and all sorts of things that we still have to do, and to go and get our visas and all the rest. So there is lots of exciting things going on. We think we're going to be in the Surrey area, but we don't have final confirmation yet. So we think that's the area, which is not where I have stayed in the UK before. I have lived in England before. I lived in sort of St Albans, north of London, and Surrey is the sort of south of London part, but it is quite close to my sister. My sister lives in Lower Morden, which is just below Wimbledon.
And it's closer to the equator.
Oh, well, fractionally.
I quite like the heat.
Yeah. So yes, we will have to get used to a very different climate. I know it's very cold there at the moment, and they're even having some snow. It will be quite an adjustment for us, but we're very excited to maybe meet some of the people that have watched our podcast and seen us over the years. So that will be quite exciting.
We can go to all the yarn festivals.
Yes, we're very excited to be going to some of the yarn festivals, and you'll be. There are lots of podcasters from England, of course. It's not much different that we can show you, but maybe we can show you England through our South African touristy eyes.
I'll be sitting there with hats and cowls and
Yes,
gloves
we'll need
and
lots of
scarves.
hats and cowls and gloves and scarves. We're going to be those people. But strangely enough, in winter inside the houses, it's actually warmer in England because you have central heating. We don't have central heating.
What heat is it inside? I forgot.
Well, you can set your thermostat. So, I mean, you could set
setting it to
you can set it at 25 if you like. It'd be a bit hot. But, I mean, normally you set it between, if you're supposed to be energy saving at 15, but normally sort of 20 to 22, I suppose. So imagine, even in the middle of winter, your house is warm inside.
So I can wear my jeans and my t-shirt
Yeah.
and my hoodie.
Yeah. You don't need 1,000 layers and be shivering and shaking and 100 blankets inside your house like here. Our winters are too short to have, you know, double glazing and central heating and all that.
Because then in summer you might die.
Yes, but... So that is our exciting news, and I don't have an awful... Oh, one more thing I do have to show you. Sorry, it's the second...
What are you working on?
Yeah, the second thing that I am working on, pattern I'm hoping will be released during the knit-along.
That's a cowl.
And this is a cowl. And this is called Savannah, because I think it looks like the grasslands, that sort of African savanna colour. So it's a cabled cowl.
Looks
It's
like a
got
dried out river.
Maybe, yeah, we're having a terrible drought here at the moment, so maybe it does look like a dried out riverbed. It's got a I-cord edge, and then a double moss stitch layer here with a sort of an interesting cable, and then there's this kind of almost like spears, isn't it? Like a group of...
To me it just looks like water patterns on a dried out riverbed.
Maybe. So this cowl has got a much more African name. My other one was because it was designed by or together in conjunction with Sally. So that was the two Sallys from South Africa made a pattern together, and that's Organized Chaos. And this one is much more sort of about South Africa, and this one's called...
or more about Africa.
Yeah, Savannah, because I mean the Savannah grasslands go right up into Africa, so maybe this is my salute to. And so this is a cowl. You've got a provisional cast on in the beginning, and it's actually quite well. You will be able to decide what length you want. I mean, you could. It's not quite there yet, but I mean, you could literally just make a.
You could close it there.
You could make just a small cowl if you want. The idea is to have a long one that you loop 2 or 3 times.
2 times is always nice.
Around your neck, so it's going to be sort of quite a long cowl. So hopefully I get that done in time. It's a quite a simple repeat, although it looks fairly complicated. It's the same 13 rows that repeat, and the back is you always knit the knits and purl the purls. So the back there's no actual concentrating work, and once you get to know what you're doing in the pattern, it's quite easy actually. It's then just to make it the length that you require. So actually, if I do have some testers already for my Organized Chaos, but if anybody would like to test this cowl, the pattern is ready. It's just I can't show you the finished object because I haven't knitted that much yet. But if anybody would like to test this, please let me know, and I will send you a copy of the pattern. And thank you very much to all those who are helping me test. It is always a great help to have.
How many testers do you usually have?
It depends. For different patterns, you ask for different amounts. If you've got lots of sizes, say for example you're doing a garment, then you need at least 2 or 3 testers per size, because you want to check that each size is right. So if you're doing a single size, then you often sort of maybe need 2, 3, 4 testers, depending how many also pictures you want. It's quite nice to have projects and pictures and stuff. So yeah. So that's the other thing I'm knitting on at the moment, which is also, because it's cabled, it's a little bit slower. This is in a really lovely yarn. I've actually used this before. Some of you might recognize it. It's the Heart Lamb.
I'm trying to remember where it's from, what you knitted out.
Don't tell me. Well, maybe if I tell you the name of the yarn, it'll ring a bell. This is in the Tulbach DK, which is 80% superwash merino, 10% cashmere, and 10% nylon. So it's an MCN base, which is lovely, lovely, lovely to work on. The cashmere gives it a lovely softness. It holds the cables, show up really beautifully. It's a lovely colour for cables, because obviously it shows the cables really, really well. And the name of the yarn is Baobab. And
it's the one that you designed, the tiny...
I did a tiny baby sweater called Baobab in this yarn.
One like in a giant size?
It's actually quite hard. I did think of, which is why I had the yarn. I was going to scale up and make a bigger one. It's just quite complicated because a baobab tree looks a certain way, and if you make it much longer and just make the tree longer, it starts looking just like any old normal tree and not a fatter, squatter baobab tree. And so every size you have to increase the base of the tree, and then all the branches go differently, and eventually I decided it's a one size thing. Well, it goes maybe till a year, I think, or 2 years or something, and that's it. That's where it stops. I'm sure I could do it in all sorts of various sizes, but to redesign the tree cable, every single group of pattern sizes you went up, So I had the yarn, it was the perfect color, and I wanted to do this KAL for a while, and so and I like the sort of that it's an African yarn, it is in a sort of an African colorway, and I'm doing the savannas. The savannas kind of the African grasslands. So the lions are this sort of color because they blend in with that dry grassland, and we're very dry at the moment. We're having a drought and fires and lots of sort of things going on. So that's the other one that I'm busy doing at the moment.
All the rivers are dried up.
Yes, yeah, we've on strict water rations and water restrictions and all sorts. So yeah, it's all quite.
When we go hiking with scouts, all the rivers are gone.
Yeah, all the rivers are dry. Yeah, Rachel's done some camps over the holidays with her scouts. And
I have another one this weekend.
Yes, you've got some sailing this weekend coming up. We just had a very quiet Christmas at home. It was nice to be with our families. My mom was actually been in England with my sisters, so my dad was here. Our New Year was a bit subdued. We hadn't really planned to do anything, but it was very sad. It was a difficult start to the year, and doing anything else after such a tragedy, it's kind of taken us a while to get back on our feet and feel like getting back to normal. But of course, that was especially, my friend said, life goes on. We have to, part of celebrating her little boy is carrying on and doing great things with our lives, celebrating being alive and living and all the rest. So that's our little podcast. We are so excited to be part of the Wonders of the World Knit Along. I'm going to start with the chatter thread, which will start in February. So to get any of the prizes and things, the general Wonders of the World Knit Along information is there, but there is going to be a specific one for February. And there you can put your finished objects, what yarn you're using, talk about stuff. The prizes will be for contributing in that thread. I am going to draw the prizes for that at the end of February, but if they need to be posted to either Europe or America or anywhere not in South Africa, I will post them when I'm in England because the postal service is slightly more reliable. If it's a prize for somebody in South Africa, obviously I can do that before I leave.
Overseas is a bit backed up.
Yeah, it just takes a little bit. Yeah, anyway. And so there'll be some of the prizes will be drawn in February. There are more prizes coming. So I have a couple of project bags and a couple of yarns and some really interesting things coming.
Surprise.
Yes. So I will show you as we go along and the prize thread. I won't show you all the prizes every time. As soon as I've got new prizes or information of new prizes, I will put the information into the threads and show you on the different podcasts. Yes. And then there will be a knit along. There will be a thread just for finished items, and there you can add anything from February to June, as long as it is in a South African yarn or a South African designer, and you get a double entry for doing the organized chaos. And if I have the Savannah finished, then you get a double entry.
You'll have it done because you have the pattern done.
I do have the pattern done. Just to take photographs and launch the pattern, I have to have the full thing knitted. I need to knit really quickly. So
you said it's not that hard.
No, it's not hard. It's not completely mindless. It's not just backwards and forwards garter stitch or something. I should have thought of that.
You should have done a pair of plain socks.
Plain socks. I've got some socks in there. I'm going to be brave this year, and I'm going to design socks for the first time. I don't know why I have a bit of a mental block about designing socks, but I gave Emma a skein of yarn for Christmas, sock yarn for Christmas, and I told him that he was to knit himself some socks. But yes, I will
knit him his socks.
I will knit him his socks, and I'll actually I know what I'm going to do, and I'm going to make a pattern from very simple socks, but I'm going to make a pattern that I'm going to write for some socks for him. So, and it's also out of a South African yarn, so that's the plan for a bit later on in the year. I won't get that done by February, I'm afraid.
Unless we all kind of just...
Unless the entire house goes down around me and I just sit on the couch and knit every day. Hey?
You can just migrate to your bedroom, hide there with all
And the
ones
complete
in.
chaos around me, yeah. No, unfortunately with packing and visas and all these things going on, I don't have much chance of that. So I am looking forward to next month with the knit along, and hopefully sometime through this year to meeting a lot of you. So thank you. So, Rachel we didn't get anything yarn related for Christmas. Well, I didn't, and Emma and Rachel did. Emma got sock yarn,
And
Rachel got a Turkish spindle from Natural Yarns. Gina gets the made here, and so Rachel got a little Turkish spindle.
I'm just
for-
winding this on so I don't
For
have...
Christmas. She hasn't done much crafting. She did sit down and say she didn't have very much to show. So.
And all the other things that I've worked on, there's like a couple of rows and there's not really much difference to see.
My funeral socks. I can't believe they're now called funeral socks.
You'll have them before your funeral.
Cheeky child. So show them your spindle. Come in.
Here we go.
So there's her little Turkish spindle. And
It's
this
got
very
purple.
beautiful green, and it's got a sort of mustardy coloured here all the way through to some
I've split it in three. Purple.
purples
It
here.
starts in purple, goes through the green,
And to the purple
and
again.
in purple.
That's lovely. It's really beautiful. So that's what she's busy spinning at the moment on her little Turkish spindle. So
I have to figure out how to wrap it on.
we have to figure out how to ship all my yarn to England.
And my
'Cause there's-
fibre.
And Rachel's fibre. There's no way we're leaving all that behind. We've got vacuum bags. I'm going to vacuum bag it all to send in the container. Yeah. Thank you for watching. And it's good to be back. And I hope everybody has a really fantastic 2017 and come and join the knit along. So thank you for watching,
and we
and
will
see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.